Welcome in, Andrea. My name is Katie Lynn. What I have here in front of you is your human design chart. This is your energetic blueprints, and ultimately, it tells you how you say your yes and no based on who you are, not what your hubby or your children expect from you, not how you were raised or what your followers expect from you. But this is you at the deepest levels. It is what is consistent in you and what you really put out into the world. So, I said that it allows you to understand your yes and no. But understanding your yes and no, what that does for you is that if you do follow that yes and no, when you finally understand how to learn that or how to use that, it allows your purpose to flow through you. And your purpose is the incarnation cross. Now, I'm not going to go into incarnation cross today because I actually don't know your time of birth. This was just a guess. So, there's too much variance in all of the things being said over here. So we're just going to stick to all of the spicy things over on the other side of the chart here. Human design, long story short, is your user manual for life. And it teaches you how to say your yes and no, ultimately allowing your purpose to flow through you. That's what we've just gone over. Let's hop into the spicy stuff. Who are you, Andrea? Well, firstly, I want to show you that there are things that are colored in here. And there is stuff that is not colored in here. So the stuff that is colored in, it's called definition, or it's defined. And that's what you put out into the world consistently. And that is why, if you decide to sit down in the future, I can teach you how to say your yes and no based on your consistency within your chart. So this is definition, what you put out into the world. This is you. And then the white stuff in your chart. This is inconsistent. It still is you, but it's, like I said, it's inconsistent. So you don't make your decisions based on what you see is white in the chart. Now, just because there's whiteness doesn't mean you're broken. Everybody has whiteness in their chart. So it just is. It's neither good nor bad. It's just now you know what's inconsistent within your energy. So now you can make better decisions based on knowing what is consistent within you. Okay, let's hop into what is consistently you. Well, over here on the right-hand side, there is a brown triangle. That is called the solar plexus. And you have this way of moving through life, through your emotions and the awareness of that in a very particular way for you. This red square here actually really is everything for you because this red square, called the sacral, it has this juicy life force energy where it pulls people, places, things, and experiences towards you in life. And then it is from there if you choose that you want to experience that or not. That whole choice mechanism thing that we keep on talking about. But this human design is one of those experiences that got pulled towards you in life that you can choose to partake in, that you can choose to partake in or not. So that's what I'm talking about. You're like this vortex that's just pulling people, places, things, and experiences towards you in life, and it is from that that you make your decisions. Of course, you're allowed to plan and allowed to want and allowed to do, but within those moments, your energy is going to be telling you what is correct for you or not. What you have this juicy life force energy or not. Now, before we move to the next center, I want you to notice that in this red square, the sacral, you have a lot of different colored in gates here. What that means is that you're just heavily defined in this particular center. Once again, just reaffirming that your sacral is going to tell you what you have the juicy life force energy for or not. What does all that mean? We're going to go into it, don't you worry. Now down here at the bottom, the brown square, this is your root center, and this is about growth. This is about pressure, your environment, and you just have this way that you particularly know how things are going to grow in your environment and how it's going to move through that. Now, I'm not a doctor, but from what I see here, physical movement is important to you. All right, moving over to the left, we have this brown triangle on the left, and that's called your spleen. And what this is about is you understand what is correct for you, whether it be in the health and safety kind of way, what is correct for you. So people, places, things, or experiences that way. Is that experience safe for you? Your body is going to give that whisper to you. Is that person correct for you anymore? Or when you first meet them, maybe you just might, for no reason at all, just step away from this new person that you meet, and maybe you should listen to things like that. Your body is giving you these whispers, and they're telling you what is healthy for you or not, what it is that it's going to keep you safe or not, what is risky and correct for you. Now, another thing about this particular center is that I believe it's heavily defined as well. You have this, this, because this one looks like a candy cane. It's got different energies over on this side, different energies over on that side, so it's quite heavily defined. What does that mean, though? It means that maybe people might feel safe around you, cozy. Okay. Let's move up to the yellow diamond. This is called the G center. Yeah, you can link it to pleasure, but it's really about your direction in life, connection, your role, identity. So there is a particular way in which you put yourself out in the world. And the last center that we're going to talk about here is your throat. This is a fixed way in which you mutate things or metamorphosize or transform things and put them out into the world. So we're going to take all of these centers and combine them together, synthesize them. And what does that mean to you? All right, well, Andrea, you are a person who is here to allow people, places, things, and experiences to come towards you in life. And because you do have this fixed way in which your emotions work, you need to get clarity when making commitments. But when you do have the chance to make decisions, you will be making correct decisions for yourself because you know when the proper timing is for you. What is safe and healthy for you? Because it will bring you in the proper direction of what needs to be transformed, or what needs to be mutated, or what needs to be brought out into the world. All right, let's go deeper. But the thing is that this is where things can kind of get a little bit wonky because I don't have your time of birth. And some things do change at the deeper levels, but there are some consistencies. So let's move with those consistencies that we see over the 3 different times of day that I picked on that day on your behalf. So we have a complete channel here. What actually makes these centers defined is the fact that there's 2 gates connecting together. Because we can see some here too, but they're not full channels. It's 2 gates come together making a channel. I know, lots of jargon, but that is what makes those 2 centers defined. Those numbers come from over here. Bloop, bloop. bloop, bloop. It just happens to be that they are equal here and here as my examples. That's just by chance. But yes, this 12 would be found here. So just happens to be that that's what makes a channel. Those channels actually is what makes that consistency in your life force energy. So let's talk about, where do we see channels? We see one here. We see one here. We see two here. And we see one here. Let us begin with the first one that we see. This here, running from the 22 to the 12, this is the channel of openness, a design of being a social being. So it's really about being in the mood or not to be social. That's it. And if you're not in the mood to be social, don't do it. If you're in the mood to be social, then do it. You have this social grace about you. You have this openness about you. But you also know when you need to stand still or proceed with caution. And this is really where all of that comes from. Moving over to the next spot, this is the sacral center. Moving down to the root, we see that the 3 runs to the 60, and this is a channel of mutation. Energy which fluctuates and initiates, and it's a pulse. So what I like about this is that a lot of people probably experience a lot of firsts around you. And they're probably like, whoa, I've never experienced that before. Oh, what is this? This is unique. This is new. But for you, it's just life. Now, this channel here, this channel here, this channel here, and this channel here are very, very individual channels. Meaning that when you are acting yourself, your true self in these regions, then that is when you're going to be the most inspirational. That is when you're going to be empowering towards your tribe, towards the collective. So just acting you, being you in these particular regions is what is going to be most inspirational and what people really see. So we talked about this being an energy which fluctuates and initiates, pulses on and off. And I said that this one over here is like you're either in the mood or not. It's either on or off. Can you kind of see the pattern here in this very individual energy? It's either on or not. And that's okay. You don't have to be on all the time for people around you. It's exhausting. So since we're talking about individual energy, let's move up here, the 28 to the 38. This is a fun one. This is a channel of struggle, a design of stubbornness. Now, people think that just because that's in their chart that they're here to struggle. No. What this means is that you are quite aware of what is worth fighting for, what is worth struggling for. Because a lot of people spend their energy on things that aren't worth struggling for or fighting for, and they spend their whole life doing that. But you know what's worth fighting for, and you take those risks because, once again, in order for your environment to grow, you know what is safe and healthy for you, so you know what it is correct for you to struggle for, what is correct for you to fight for. And once again, this is how We do it. No. This is how your tribe is going to find you so inspirational. What is it that you're fighting for? That you're social about or not? What is it that is going to be a new thing that you've done? All right, so the thing is about these particular energies here is that I'm not a doctor, but they can be quite clinically deep in emotions. Like, same shit, different day. Why would I even bother struggling? Why would I bother being social? I'm never going to be seen for what it is that I want to be seen for. So if you ever have any of those kind of struggles, make sure that you are talking those out. But just know that when you have those feelings of melancholy, that it's just actually the beginning of something new. Let's go all religious here. Creation stories, there was nothing and then there was something. So if you feel this emptiness or this melancholic feeling of like, same shit, different day, the things that I'm going to do, it's why bother? It's never going to get there. Just know that that's truly the beginning of something super creative. And although it's uncomfortable to experience that, the light is at the end of the tunnel, and just know that there is something creative at the end for you. The light is there for you, as said before. So those feelings of melancholy, they're just going to pulse on and off, and it just is. It's a chemical feeling. It's not because you're doing anything wrong or somebody else is doing anything wrong. Just allow it to flow through you without any reason as to why you might feel that way. It just is. And I am sorry that you feel that way. Make sure you talk to people about that. Maybe I'm completely off. I don't know. All right, Andrea, let's go back to this red sacral center, noticing the channel that goes up to the G center. This channel is called the channel of exploration, a design of following one's convictions, no matter what. You are meant to follow your convictions. You are meant to be in that behavioral of self, making sure that what you do is for you, powerfully for you, because ultimately it will grow your environment, put you in the proper direction. It'll appease your being social or not, and it'll put you in the direction of what is worth struggling for or not. Now, what's fun is that I wonder, because you do have this channel of exploration where you must follow one's convictions no matter what, and you do have this channel of being stubborn. I wonder if you recognize yourself as being stubborn, or if people around you recognize that, you know, you have your particular way. Alrighty, so there's one last channel that we're going to talk about. And this last channel here is talking about the channel of transformation, a design of being driven. And really, this is about being this ambitious person who can continue with what they're doing. But, you know, without the jargon, it's, long story short, is you smell who's got the talent and who's really worth investing in. And it's not really like sleeping with the boss to get to the top. It's about seeing that talent and seeing that work and the effort or their capability of where they can be at. I personally got this because I can smell, like, smell or smell what type of psychic abilities people have, how psychic they can really be. That's what I got going on here. Julia Hart, she has this, and obviously she knows who's got talent, right? So how about we start synthesizing this all together? Andrea, you are this person who has this juicy life force energy, pulling people, places, things in life towards you. And it is from there where you need to gain your clarity. If you're in the mood or not, if you're social or not, or open or not, to be able to partake in what it is that you want to partake in. Because ultimately, when you partake in something, you will be spending your energy. And spending your energy on stuff that is worth struggling for, spending your energy on stuff that's worth fighting for, to see who has the talent or who does not have the talent, growing your environment. Because ultimately, you will know what is safe for you, what is healthy for you. People do find you to be cozy, and they kind of feel themselves around you. They kind of feel like when they're around you, they kind of bring themselves back to themselves. And when you are acting your true self, being your true self, being open when you want to be, not struggling for shit that's not worth it, following your correct behavior no matter what, exploring what is correct for you, that is when you're going to be your most inspirational, when you're going to be your most empowering. It's going to lead you on the proper direction that will allow things to be mutated, for things to be firsts. Whether you are saying wow for the first time, or whether it's people around you feeling that extreme mutation that you do bring into this world because you are such a unique being. Your uniqueness will be seen by the tribe as you are uniquely you. There's one thing that I want to kind of like a heed warning for you is this here, 29. You have the gate of the 29. And gate 29 is showing that it is here and you're shining light out into the world, and you have the capability of possibly giving so much that it hurts. Like giving both of your kidneys, donating 100% of your blood, etc. So just make sure that when you are giving your energy, that you are giving your energy to what is correct for you. All right, so yeah, we've talked about what it is that is you, all of this colored stuff in the chart, but we haven't talked about the white stuff in the chart yet. Now, for this part, it's really important that I have your time of birth, because this is the first time I've ever seen this, where there are no gates attached to the head centers at all. Head center, ajna. As you see, there's no gates. That's not a bad thing. In all of these places where there are color, you are fixed in a very particular way, but your head center is wide open, your head area. You have an unlimited resource of awesome coming into your head or going out, because there's no fixed way of you conceptualizing, and there's no fixed way of you logically putting things together. There's no fixed way of you abstractly putting things together, the way that you mutate things out into the world through your head. Like, there's no fixed way that you do that, so you get to express all of them. This possibly could have made you feel insecure, so maybe throughout your life you tried to make what is here consistent, but there's nothing wrong with you or who you are in these particular regions. If you're acting not self, or, making plans based on trying to correct what possibly could be wrong in these regions, which there's nothing wrong with you. I'm going to say it a million times over. It just is. Just happens to be the makeup of your chart. This is such a beautiful area. I wonder if this is where you get so much of your inspiration. But yeah, if you try to pre-plan and all that stuff, you're probably going to end up frustrated. If you try to live your life out in the white centers, you're probably going to end up frustrated. So what is it to see your life from this point of view? You'll possibly see yourself frustrated when you try to be inspirational or be inspired or try to answer everybody else's questions. If you were younger and working a job in which required a lot of work where answers are had. I bet you were the person who answered a lot of those questions. I bet if Andrea didn't have the answer, I bet she would go find it. And this is just as small as, you're on your phone right now working, and one of your children say, "Hey, Mom, what time is it?" And although you see the time on your phone, it's also right there on the oven. Even though you love your boy, the answer should be, "I don't know, why don't you check?" Even though you could clearly answer so easily, but it's derailing your work, and you kind of have to like get back on track. So you'll find yourself answering a lot of questions that might derail you. All right. Here, oh, and you might find yourself frustrated because, all the kids keep on interrupting me when I'm trying to work. Oh, why can't the kids just answer things themselves? Why can't they just find it themselves? So you're probably going to get up and go find it because you just want to relieve the mental pressure so that, you know, it can be found, whatever it is that is lost, even though it's not yours or has nothing to do with you. The life of a mom, right? So right here, it's saying that you have an unlimited way of conceptualizing things. Your ideas, your stories, potentially the way you structure things, how you realize things. It's just the full bag. It's the full mixture. So is this where you became your influencer because everything was just so wide open for you to have? That's awesome. But when you try to, okay, okay. When you are acting not self, you are going to put yourself in a position where you avoid uncertainty. So for me, I only spoke when I knew the answer. Oh, Katie's so smart. Every time she opens her mouth, she's correct. But it was just actually to avoid humiliation amongst my friends. I only spoke when I knew the answer. And sometimes people try to convince others that their way is the correct way here. Like, oh no, I know the way. It's my way. So that might end up being frustrating for you. Once again, you only know what you know, and that's okay. An answer of "I don't know" is just as fine. All right, we're going to go down to the heart center here. This tiny white triangle. Even though it's tiny, it's got a really, really big impact on the whole chart. This heart center, it's not about love, it's about willpower, it's about commitment. And what this is actually saying is that you don't have that consistent access to willpower and commitment. So sometimes you might find yourself trying to prove to yourself that, oh, well, I'm just going to do that just to prove to myself. Maybe you might go on a specific cleanse for a certain time, or you might do a certain amount of steps for, etc. I'm just going to try to prove myself that I can get this. You have nothing to prove except for at all. You have nothing to prove to yourself, not to your followers, not to the people around you. When you are not self here, you're going to feel like you have something to prove. You might feel like you have to go harder, better, faster, stronger with somebody without somebody even asking you. You might feel like you have to control stuff. Control your thoughts, control how you're inspirational. But maybe you also might feel like you have to prove that you know what you're talking about or prove that you have the answers. But you have nothing to prove. Sometimes when people are in the not self here, they feel like they might not be enough or not deserving. Imposter syndrome, maybe. That's not true. This is just a chemical feeling when you're acting not self. You are enough. You are deserving. You are loved. This is just willpower and commitment. And we definitely feel shitty sometimes regarding our willpower and commitment. oh, well, I don't want to upset my tribe, so I'm just still going to do it to be the good person, even though you're super frustrated and don't want to do it anyways. So, if you ever gain clarity that this isn't the correct commitment for you, you are allowed to say no. You don't have to say yes or vice versa. Your tribe will still love you if you are acting your true self and saying what is correct for you and you only. Because what is correct for you and you only will be correct for everybody. So, putting these two together, I said that you need to have patience, and you don't have direct access or consistent access to willpower and commitment. So it's really important that you are patient, that you're not really making decisions in other people's energies or auras or other people's presence. Having your own space when you're making your own decisions is really you making a correct decision as yourself if you've given yourself a little bit of time to process it through your body. Are you going to do that or not? So if you gain clarity that you don't want to do it, you're allowed to say, or if you gain clarity that you want to tell the person that you don't want to say that you don't want to do it anymore, don't do it. Are you overcommitting? Because when you overcommit, you'll end up with burnout. All right. The reason why I'm talking about this so deeply is because I understand this very, very deeply. So this is about proving or going. So I bet as an influencer, you have all of these ideas that you want to do. There's so many things that you get on your lists or on your mind. But it's for you to gain clarity and move through what is correct for your behavior. And I ended up in a place of burnout because this beautiful little heart center is highly connected to the brain, and the brain's like, oh, you can go. Oh, well, I need to do more. Oh, well, I can will myself to do more. I must have enough energy. No, it created burnout. There's actually, once again, not a doctor, there's thymus, gallbladder, heart, and stomach attached to this. So I know that I ended up with issues with my stomach because I just kept on going and going when I should have just stopped and rejuvenated and repaired. So your energy will tell you when you're at that point of needing to stop. Okay, so let's synthesize this not selfness. When you're acting not self, you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off, trying to prove that trying to prove that you're inspirational, or you're just a good tribes member, so you will answer questions when they come up to you, even though they're derailing you. Or you will be able to find a conceptualizing way for maybe somebody else to be able to have answers or to be able to understand. But that's not you. You are here to be a person who is open or not to what it is that you're available to, social or not, and your cautionary or your graceful standstill will be able to tell you what is worth going head deep into, what is worth giving that 100% of your blood to, because when you are acting yourself and exploring what is correct for you, you are this ambitious, joyous person who knows who has the talent, and you are going to fight for what is worth fighting for, but you know what is risky and what's worth struggling for. You know what detail and depth is needed in order to move forward because you are here to defend your tribe. You are here to defend your tribe with your values. All right. Well, I could keep on going on and on and on. I really could. But I am going to end it here. I just want to say thank you to Andrea's fans for listening. And I just do want to reinvite you to see if this is something that you would want to know about your family. And I can do a whole group analysis of all 5 of all you together. So when the new one comes out, you let me know and I'll be ready too. But yes, but separately, if we're talking to fans of Andrea or anybody who has watched this, the full experience that you just saw here is the $250 experience. Now, we didn't go into everything because we didn't have all the information needed to go into everything. But in order to have the basics experience of understanding how to say your yes and no, it is a $50 experience as well. All right, my loves, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And secretly, I tried to record this 3 times. The first time, the dump truck came by and sucked our sewers. And the second time, a train went by. And the third time, I got a call for a job interview. So, yeah, here we go. It was fun. Bye.